In this series of videos, we're going to talk about trading with data, meaning we have a source of data that tells us to do a specific thing in the market. Because trading is mainly based upon opinions, right? You either buy or you sell, you do nothing. And when it comes to data, it doesn't matter what indicator you have, what system you have, what method you use, and so on. If you cannot back it with data that proves that what you're doing is right, you will not always win, of course, but you will not either lose all the time. That's because you have data. The data tells you that if you keep doing what you are doing, you are going to get ahead because the data pro in your track record. Some people call that backtesting, but most backtesting is based on patterns, things in the market, the visual things. But if you actually have data that can prove your point, then you know, even if you lose, you know, well, I only followed my data. It's like you can mow the responsibility to the data source, even though you are always responsible for what you're doing, of course. But you know that, okay, I followed my plan with data, and if that didn't work, good. Because if I have one loss, then I know mostly it's coming 3 wins and so on, depending on what your data say, of course. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about the correlation with the DXY or the DXY index. The DXY index is not perfect, but it gives you an edge if you know what you're doing. But the problem with DXY and TradingView is that you can use it as an overlay chart, but this is what happens when you do that. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to add a DXY chart. So when you do that, you click on the plus sign up in the left top corner of your TradingView. And you can do an overlay chart, like you see here. This is the DXY or the DXY, right? You can click on it like this, and you can change how you want colors, if you want to have candles, lines, whatever it is. The problem with this type of overlay chart is that as soon as you start to zoom, this happens, right? And you can, of course, say, oh, well, DXY is going down right now, and I do this and that and so on. But this helped very few people because it do not give you an edge when using this. So most people ignore it, or they may know that DXY is at this level and have a system for that, and there are 10 different systems or 20 different systems with this. And that's extremely confusing, and that's not a game we want to play. So what we are going to do, we're going to use a tool that I created to make it a lot more easier to define where DXY is, where your asset is right now. But before we do that, we're going to set up a tool that we need. Just one tool that we need for our trading. So when we come to the separate videos for the euro, the pound, gold, and the yen, you have the tool, you know what to do, same thing all over. Okay? And as you see on my chart, I currently have candles that look like this. Body is white, border are black, wick are black. It looks almost like hollow candles, right? Simply because I take away the bull and bear identification on the chart. I don't need that. It's just a distraction because we can see this one is going down, we can see this one is going up, but we don't need candlesticks. We need data, a data-driven model that you can start using from day one in your trading. And the way we're doing that is by adding the DXY or the DXY index to make sure that we are taking as good decisions as possible into trading. And to guide us when we are trading, to make sure that we start to do small trades where we see that this is actually working, and then we can expand it to longer trades and do other things, of course. But we need to start somewhere basic where everyone can follow and everyone can do this. So what I'm going to use a tool called the GANN box. You can use the Fibonacci tool, but I prefer the GANN box. Looks like this. And this is not what we are going to use, of course. This is the default, how it looks like. So we click on it, and we take away all this stuff. This. And up here, the only thing we care about is the 0, the 1, and the 50. So we take off this one. This. Now you have a start point, an end point, and a middle point, an equilibrium, 50%. That's all you need. Simple as that. You're using, again, data-driven levels, data-driven tools combined with your data edge, right? So what we can do, we can take away the background as well, because we really only need this line. That's what we are going to use for our entries, right? So like this. Okay. So now when you have that one, what you also want to do, I'm going to click this one, and you want to put in 1.5. We can make that one green because that's target line. This, right? So now we have, this is our entry, this is our exit, or at least partial and most stop loss. So when you have this tool set up like this, you go down to template, save as, name it anything, call it 50 tool, equilibrium tool, whatever, doesn't matter, right? So you have this always saved, and you have it looks like this when you pull it up, and if not, then you just do like this, right click, template, and then you, let's say I call it GANN gray, right? I will click this one and it would look like this. Okay, so let us save as, and we call it GANN, GANN gray there. I overwrite it now, this. Okay, save. So let's say now that this one was default like this, and I need it right now the way I set it up. So then I just right click, template, GANN gray, looks like this. So you have a saved tool, right? The other way around, if you don't want to use the GANN, you can use the Fibonacci. See, I've done the same thing here. The different, I mean, you can do this on the GANN tool as well, is if you want to, you can make this 0, 1, 1.5, same as GANN, right? And then you can also use these ones with minus values here on this side. That means that if you drag this one up or down, doesn't matter, it will show the same levels up and down. So it becomes easier. Same thing here, saved as a template, and you have it there as well. Or you can basically, if you use just like it looks right now. So for example, if I was putting this one here, for example, and say, oh, it's the wrong order, you can click reverse. Or now it was reversed. Now it's back to original. See? It just changes direction. But if you want to make it super simple, input 3 new here, put in minus value 1.5 and 50, right? 0.50 and 1.5. And then it doesn't matter which order you drag it up or down, down and up. You will see in both directions the levels, right? And you see I have numbers here. If you also want to have the prices, you can add that one. If you don't want to have anything of it, just lines, you know already what they mean. A red line is this 50, where you're going to enter, and the green line is where you're going to take profit. Save it as template, and you're done. So GANN box or Fibonacci tool. That's up to you which one you want to use, or if you want to use both. One may be used for 50, one may be for targets like this. Then you're ready to start trading, because this is what you need to do this data-driven system. So see you in the next video, and good luck with your trading.